How can embracing complexity lead to something that's simple? My name is Adam Light, and tonight I'm going to show you by illustrating the application of some principles from lean manufacturing to knowledge work. Now, our story starts with the Industrial Revolution. And the Industrial Revolution wasn't just revolutionary because of the mechanization of work. It was revolutionary because it standardized and simplified job tasks and created more specialized roles than had ever existed before. Nowhere was this more evident than in the manufacture of automobiles, which has been called the industry of industries. By the 1920s, Henry Ford's pioneering advances had created a new kind of factory, a factory that was marked by what manufacturers today call one-by-one flow. Cars moved down the moving assembly line, and without stopping, when they rolled off the end, there was a customer waiting to buy them. Now, meanwhile, what had come to be known as scientific management was applied to the white-collar segment. So there became specialized stenographers and file clerks and operating on standardized work under the watchful eye of their managers. So what had started out as simple through the perceived need for coordination control became complicated. In the industry of industries, supply chains lengthened and inventories grew. And while most of the industry was focused on the division of labor, the Toyota Motor Company patiently, over decades, perfected one-by-one flow. Some American researchers later rediscovered that, and they branded it lean manufacturing. Lean focuses on the delivery of value to the customer. The customer is everything in lean. Anything that the customer won't pay for is waste, and it's a candidate for removal or elimination. Like Henry Ford's moving assembly line, lean focuses on the continuous delivery of work, valued work, to the customer. Now, in a manufacturing setting, this is easy to see. And in some transactional settings outside manufacturing, it's also pretty clear. But knowledge work is different. In knowledge work, the hardest things to standardize are the most valuable things. And knowledge workers themselves frequently become the most productive asset of the company. Knowledge work embodies what mathematicians call irreducible complexity. So the organizations that specialize in knowledge work resemble ecological systems more than they resemble machines. But once we realize this, we can take advantage of it. And instead of trying to build organizations like machines out of simple parts, we can use self-similar structures and processes, and we can group together intelligent, sophisticated human agents in these organizations. Agents are like the birds in this flock. Through their interactions, the behavior of the whole emerges. And so the social systems that we work in, including organizations, are complex adaptive systems. When we understand the way complex adaptive systems work, we can model the system by modeling the simple rules that govern the interactions of the agents. So what are some of the simple rules that apply to lean knowledge work? The first one has to be make work visible. So knowledge work is really valuable, but it's very intangible. And so a lot of it becomes difficult to manage the work if you can't see it. So the first thing is to make the work visible. Once you make it visible, you start to find ways to break it down into smaller units or chunks. These smaller units are called batches. And it turns out that large batches are correlated with high costs and long schedules. Smaller batches make it easier to control things. So the second simple rule for lean knowledge work is that whatever your batch size is, you can probably make it smaller. Now, no self-respecting factory manager would load a production process over 100%. But the managers of knowledge workers frequently do exactly that. And the queue states, the high wait times that result cause most of the economic damage in knowledge work. So the third simple rule is to avoid high queue states at all costs. In knowledge work, ideas are the product, and the most important thing is to bring the ideas to fruition as rapidly as possible. It doesn't really matter if every individual is busy all the time. So the fourth and final simple rule of knowledge work is to watch the baton, not the runner. Machines frequently become less reliable as the number of components increases. But with lean knowledge work, and if we understand the principles of complexity, we can make our we can make things more reliable by focusing on complexity.